as action for national plan. Let's go see.
Okay.
Ready? Good evening to everyone. Thank you for coming to our commission meeting on May 23rd, 2023. It is now 5:05. Call this meeting to order. Invocation. Who would like to volunteer to do it?
Mike's turn.
Mike's turn. Okay.
Mike who?
Can everybody stand up, please?
Dear Lord Jesus. What?
Yeah.
I can speak loud. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing us all together today and providing commissioners with wisdom and truth and honesty to find our path and our way to do the people's work. Thank you for keeping us all well and safe as we work through the meeting items today. Hopefully, we do all your good work in your name and keeping Socorro County community members' wishes and best interests in our hearts and in our minds. In your name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Michael. You're welcome. Item 4, salute to the New Mexico flag. The United States flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico. Civil. Roll call.
Commissioner Aguilar. Vice Chair Secretary.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Here.
And Chair Martinez.
Present. Okay, item 6, approval of agenda. Commissioners had a chance to review the agenda. Is it good enough, or do you have any changes that you'd like to recommend?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Aguilar. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Item 7, approval of minutes of May 9th, 2023. Commissioners, you've had a chance to review the minutes in the board packet.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion before I ask for the vote? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes of May 9, 2023 are approved. And thank Ms. Amico for doing that. Item 8, committee and department reports, acknowledge department reports. We have some. Art, you want to give us a verbal?
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We started our chip sales yesterday. Been quite a bit of road runs, so and we'll be moving on from Oak Farms to Retard Farm. We'll be doing Smithville, Slading, and Chambon. And then we should be done for that. Actually, tomorrow. Tomorrow.
What are you talking to?
Parts on the costume tomorrow. And then we'll be moving on to Virita, Toya, and We should be done by then, bro. That way I can get out the contract if they want to. Makes money for the county. A lot of calls now that we got the moisture. We had the flooding on Friday and Saturday. So I let Mike know about it. So he knew about it. We had about 3 inches on Saturday. Pretty cut it out. So we got it cleaned up though.
Good.
Everything's working out good. And then we had a little bit of flooding there now. Cosecito also. So we can get in and out. In a couple of weeks before we finish our projects and clean it up and start hauling some of that sand out.
Any questions from our commissioner?
So which operator operates over towards Magdalena and then,
I know, well,
okay, and how many years has he been with the county?
26, 28 years,
20?
about 28 years.
Well, I just had some ranchers and also some individuals that came to me that said, hey, you know what, whoever's doing our road did a very good job. So, are you familiar with Manuel,
Yes.
with the work that he
I
does?
started at the same time.
Okay, so just pass that word.
Well, today I went, since I knew you guys were starting, I went and I looked at the roads. They're looking pretty nice.
Yeah, I took some pictures over to Mike and all the roads we done. That we guys informed.
I noticed there was an inmate helping you guys. I saw.
Yeah, we have 3 inmates and we're working out good.
So,
So it's a big help to us.
oh yeah.
And, hey, Mike, for buying them, we're getting them lunch because they get pretty happy because that's why they want to come out because Mike's always getting them lunch. So.
Maybe we can go.
They're very happy because they like how they get a good lunch.
Well, and it helps them. It helps them being
Yeah.
out there doing something productive. So,
It's a motivated and wants to go, they want to get out, they can go out.
okay.
Working out great.
Thank you. Art.
Thank you.
Acknowledge managers. That's what you put on the, you don't have anything else? Any questions on it, commissioners? Yes, yes.
So this was in regards to last meeting that we were talking about the hiring process with the county. And what it came down to was ultimately you said that you were pretty much in charge of who gets hired and stuff like that. Am I correct?
Well, the final policy that is 4.5 in our policy in our 2016.002 ordinance.
Okay. And I know our HR is fairly new. How long has that person been with us?
Well, she came from the senior center where she was there for, let's say, 10 months. Been with us maybe two months.
Okay. If I may, sir, I'd like to make the recommendation in regards to the manager to push some of that responsibility onto the HR, being that she's a designated HR person, and also for Mike just kind of slowly stepping back and also overseeing the whole process.
That's exactly what I do. The final decision is made upon the accumulation of everybody's input.
That's exactly what does happen.
Mr. Martinez, yes, I'd like to just reiterate for you, Mr. Craig. So I know as an elected official, we do our interviews. We strongly suggest the employees that rate high office for that position. So we let Mike know this is who we are recommending. And then we've never had any problems. He'll go along with what the elected officials are saying we want to hire. At least I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
Yes.
But, you know, in terms of, like I was saying, you know, what I heard and I went back, read the minutes and, you know, I was, you know, under the impression that, you know, that ultimately it was his decision. And I just wanted to make that very clear. That the directors have a little bit more say so in regards to who's recommended and whatnot. So,
Okay. Item C, acknowledge commissioners report. Commissioner Dalla, you have anything?
Sir,
Commissioner Gonzalez,
not at this time. It's warming up. That's good. And the rain was nice, but my standpoint held off a little longer. And the family that I'm working for, I wish it had held off. They had their hay down. We're trying to get a roof on the house, and they were sitting under their pole barn. And I said, "Well, we're trying to get the roof on the house, but you cut the hay." We need the rain.
Commissioner Secretary.
none at this point, sure.
Okay, I just have, I attended the Senior Advisory Board meeting in Belen on Wednesday this past week and Thursday. I came back Thursday after lunch. I didn't stay in Summit. Some of that stuff. But it was just speakers talking about nutrition stuff like that. But at the meeting, I sent an email to Mike. They got $1 million and for home improvements, the whole state. And they're breaking it down. They don't know how they're gonna break it down by county. They're looking at estimate about 25 to 40,000 per household. They could service like 100 homes. That's across the county. $1 million sounds like a lot of money. It is in the home service in 2 counties. They're looking for contractors to bid. They're gonna put RFPs out to bid, to be able to go do that work around the state. I hope that when they put that RFP, that they do it by PSA provider. Like in those PSAs, there's certain counties where contractors would bid just for those areas instead of the whole state. Because I doubt that somebody would bid on Mora contractor to come and do work here in Sapporo. If he would, $25,000-$30,000, you know, and get too much done. You know, so I hope they look at that and see how they're going to do. It was also mentioned there by the lady that was representing Katrina from Lopez, the Secretary of the Department. She couldn't make it. But the legislature, they awarded their organization $5.5 million. Out of that $5.5 million, 50% will be going for salaries increases for all the people that work in the senior centers throughout the 32 counties that are not at $15 an hour. And also to help pay for the food cost. I asked about the other 60%, where that went. And she said it went to non-metro for their expenses, I guess for their personnel and stuff. The good thing about that 5.5, according to what I understand, she said that'll be every year. It'll be funded every year. It won't be a one-time thing. So every year they'll be getting like, which will help us. Will help every county. And I don't know, when we meet with the mayor on Thursday, Mike, I need to mention it to him because since we no longer have the senior centers, see, I was like advisory for the senior centers for Socorro. So since we don't have them now, I'm the chair of the committee, the whole committee. I don't know if they'll keep me in the chair or get somebody else and decide that next time. So the mayor is gonna have to decide who he wants to represent Socorro at those future meetings. And then the mayor from Magdalena will have to choose somebody in his area to. It's very important that they have those people. Because right now, Harley, Hidalgo, Santa Fe, Rio Arriba representatives. And it's really worth it to have them to, so they can speak what's going well, what isn't going well in their centers, to try to get the money and stuff that they need. And that was the only meeting I went this time. Okay. The next one is item 9, public comment.
There's nobody for public comment.
Nobody? Okay, new business. Item A, review and discussion of investments. Mary. That's your part. Thank you for coming too.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
If you have questions for me, I laid out, what you asked for. It should be in your packet.
Could the microphone to your mouth, so I can hear you.
What's that?
The microphone.
Oh, can you hear me?
No, you just have to talk a little.
That's loud.
So one of my questions, Mary, is a comment was made by one of our employees that we have $17 million invested. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the other question is, if an emergency was to happen in our county, can we pull some of that money out and not
Yes.
get penalized?
And if we need it like for tomorrow, if we do it by a certain time, it should be here by the next day
Okay,
in our account, in the general fund.
okay. That's the two questions I had, because I was kind of amazed that we had that much money, 17 million. But I saw how much interest it's made, so thank you, because that's helping. Mike? Great, you have any questions for anybody?
First of all, thank you very much for providing this detailed report. And it's always been, well, nobody really never gave us the exact amount in terms of, it was like, oh, this is a ballpark figure. And, I think something like this on a 6 months basis would be good. I would really appreciate that.
And that's just when I started. I don't have, you know,
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
I just have one question, maybe two. What determines when we make additional deposits? Like there's some there for 2.5, 5.2, 3.5.
well, I believe you wanted to keep 5.2 in the general fund. So
Anything that's
it doesn't get there. If it does, then it comes right out for
Yeah.
something else. So anything over that would probably decide then.
Okay, thank you. And then how do we keep the interest at 4.5?
Just kidding.
That's the kicker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that said, Commissioner, as you know, one of the reasons that it's in LGIP is because of the fluidity and availability not to receive penalties like a CD earning. With that said, and the fluidity and available application of it, and the Commission's wish to keep at least 5.2 in Operation General Fund, Finance Director has recognized, and I think Rosemary has recognized some upcoming debts that we have coming in. Would like to move 2.3 million back to First State Bank to meet our obligations. So they'll leave us with 15 million in change, still gathering interest, but we have to pay the bills. So we let that amount of money work for us as long as we could. So now we gotta pay the bills.
42,000 basically.
Oh, at least. And June 7th is another possible rate hike.
Go ahead.
In terms of the expenses you were saying, what are the big tickets that we're looking at?
There's several items. I have to go back to the printout sheet. I reviewed it. It slips away right now, but
The printout sheet from Sammy?
yeah. And what she made reference to, reason she was suggesting to move 2.3 million back to First State Bank. Oh, no, this.
Not this.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So there's a list of items, what our obligations are, the cash, and the total amount we have. And within those obligations, it's identified that we're gonna need $2,318,305 in order to maintain that 5.2 or so as those obligations become due. And they'll be coming due in June, early July.
Any further questions for Mary?
No.
Well, thank you for coming. The Commissioner Secretary said we can get everybody resolved.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, just really quick, just pursuant to the law, which is 61010, the treasurer has the right to move the money as long as there's no, you all are no objections from this body.
To move the 3.2 million? 2.2 point?
As long as there's no objections.
Because we need it.
I mean, if there are, we would come back at another, we would come back for a vote or another meeting, but at this point, then no direction. We're good to go.
Can we ask for an extension of the payment?
So, I understand what items that we've been obligated to in regards to, and I know that they're probably recurring on a quarterly basis or on a monthly basis and whatnot. And up to this point, and I know that we have to have that we have to maintain that 5 point, cushion and whatnot. So, I guess my question is, why all of a sudden that we need a little bit extra now than we did in previous months?
Well, that's just outstanding obligations plus funds that we know that we're gonna need. We also been, put on notice that we might have a $220,000 bill coming in, general health benefits that was known to the state to be in effect since 2020, and they didn't address it, and now they're wanting the counties to pay for it. That's just one of many items. And it's not that it wasn't known, it's just now that they're coming due, and we had the money in investment as long as we could, now we have to move it.
But I guess that would be my request in regards to, in terms of,
If you want the finance director to come to the next meeting, she was requesting, I don't know the timeframe she needs, but,
Fiscal year. So
yeah,
end of June.
because the fiscal year is coming to the end, so we have a meeting on June 7th. The finance director could explain the need. It's not like they weren't recognized already, but everything is coming due.
So is it safe to say that the thought process is we have a budget, we have some debt, we have this money invested, but our debt isn't until later. So let's keep it invested so it earns interest, and when the debt comes forward, then we put money in there, we're earning as much interest as we can on the money that we have.
That's exactly the strategy, and that's exactly in philosophy and keeping the cushion as well. What the commission decided on. So
And is this is a type of money market, like? Is this LGIP or
there are several different.
it's invested in seven?
Yeah, it's very diversified, and it's established and recognized by the state treasurer.
Oh, fairly safe then?
Yeah, I believe like 31 of the 33 counties do it.
Us.
And it's recognized.
Commissioner, as far as investments go, the county is pretty limited, unfortunately. But what, the statute allows us to do is to put money in banks with a physical presence in the county if they are collateralized at 110%. And the statute also allows us to go with the local government investment pool, which is also just as collateralized or more. And the good thing about the LGIP is who we talked about. It's not like a CD where you get a penalty. You can move money in and out. I mean, I wish I could put money there.
Right? County do.
Ma'am, I know in the past we were told that there was a percentage, that most of it are earmarked in regards to other things. What percentage of this total amount are we, is earmarked for, we can't touch, I guess, so to speak.
We can't touch?
Yeah.
I believe we can touch what, we need. I mean, we need to leave it for emergency.
And if I might, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Secretaro, remember, don't ask me about numbers, but the law requires that we have 3/12 of our budget, of what our budget is. So we have to calculate that out. That 3/12 of the budget can never be touched unless there's an absolute emergency. And we even thought about, this board talked about using it during COVID, and they decided that's not a big enough emergency. So, but I don't know what that emergency is, but 3/12 cannot be touched.
Thank you very much. That's approximately 2.6 million. How much? Approximately 2.6 million. That-
Cannot be touched.
Yeah, if you're mandated paying at all times 3/12, whatever your budget is in your capability and capacity. 3/12, that's just roughly about 2.6.
So if, I know that, I forgot which meeting we had, the sheriff told us that they were being hit for communication costs, that it was gonna cost quite a bit. They were trying to look at the cheapest way. So I know it was like 200,000, I think he said at that meeting. I remember correctly. So did that get straightened out, or because he was gonna look at other ways, but are we gonna have to pay some of that?
That's already been put in process. If you remember, we used LATC funds, local and tribal community funds. Out of the 3.6 million that we received, because could be used as general funds. I say that's what we identified it as because that was the funds that were coming in, but it actually went into the general fund, and you're allowed to commingle that fund and treat it as a general fund. And if you remember, the commission said this is an emergency issue because it deals with safety and life issues. So that's been moving forward.
And equipment, like for the road department, I know one of the meetings, Art mentioned he needed a loader, and what else did you need, Art, did you say?
Dump truck, couple of vehicles, and I'm trying to keep up with the vehicles. Hold on for a couple of years on that, but I'll really need a dump truck and a loader and a sweeper and other things.
Did he ever get with you to, sorry, did he ever get with you to discuss the equipment?
We've sat down several times and discussed equipment. I just got a bill for his 3 new graders, so that's fairly substantial. So yeah, we've sat down and we've talked about when is most advantageous to start looking at replacement and what in comparison to repair costs and life cycle costing. Yeah, we talk about that all the time, and also in the new fiscal year, the commission would like to not only look at equipment, but look at increasing the manpower at the road department. And also, if the federal government maintains the word and does send the other tranche of LATCF funds, actually coming up with each commissioner coming up with some type of a wish list in their identified district, and through gaining of interest off the LATCF funds, hit at least one of those major items that they want, or we don't receive funding for, but we pay for it for our interest, out of our interest income, to make that money work for us. That would be my idea, but again, you're the commission, you're in control of those things.
Well, just my final question, Mike, to you and Art. I don't know if you have a system in place now, like the life cycle of, for instance, a grader, the life cycle of a loader, life cycle. Most agencies have that. After they get to a certain year, you start looking at replacing them because, you know, do you have something in place for that?
After our life cycle, we trade them in after 5 years. Because we put quite a bit of hours on them. Some of our graders that we put up 6,000 or 7,000, sometimes 8,000 in 5 years. And that's why we use them every 5 years.
Yeah.
And the loaders, you know, we put quite a bit of hours on those. And
Okay,
we just have to stay with the loader because if it's paid off, you know, we just have to keep it and just engage it the best we can.
well, I won't ask you to do me a report until chip sealing season is over. But I'd like to get a report on all your equipment, what kind of life cycle you have, like a pickup, mechanics truck, trailers. The graders and the loaders are major pieces of equipment, and they cost a lot. Your chip box, that's a $500,000 piece of equipment. And, you know, to replace that, it should last us quite a while. But afterwards,
I think we've had it already about 23 years. I'm thinking that way.
that's what I need. Well, thank you. Okay. I don't have any more questions. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Item B, consideration of resolution 2023-51, for 2023-2024 wildfire risk reduction grant.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioner.
Good evening, Mr. Whitter.
What you have before you is a resolution. The Mexico counties, they have a program called Wildfire Risk Reduction Program. And it's offered to all the counties to do different projects. And what we elected to do is do the wildfire risk reduction side where we can focus on the Bocc and try to reduce the fuel in some of the areas and to protect our structures in those areas. We've been fortunate to get funding every year. This funding comes to the BLM, to the New Mexico counties, and then they manage the program for BLM and make it available to all the counties. We put in an application this year for $75,000 to continue our progress, our work in the Bocc area, and hopefully complete the area this next year. And then so we'll be doing fuel reduction and spraying in that area. And so that's what this request is for, is to approve the resolution so that we can get the grant.
Thank you, Mr. Whitter. You heard what they want to do with it.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2023-51 for 2023-24 wildfire risk reduction grant is approved.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Appreciate it. Next item is review, discussion, and direction to staff regarding House Bill 2 retroactive supplemental and deficiency appropriations of the group benefits.
I can certainly do an introduction. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we all had a bit of a surprise, and that when I say we all, that means the counties that participate in the benefits program for health and life insurance through the state of New Mexico. And what basically came about, hidden in House Bill 2 was basically a retroactive increase because basically the state didn't make any increases during COVID and before that, as far as their premiums go. And so they came across, they have a huge budgetary shortfall. And basically they are requiring, DFA is requiring all of the agencies that participate, which, that might be a school, it certainly could be, a school, it could be all the state agencies do it. Regulation and licensing, Department of Transportation, they're all in it. Many counties are. And so House Bill 2 required us to pay a certain amount based on their formula, and that amount for Socorro County is what, 200? What's the amount? 200.
Almost 220.
$220,000. So basically, the attorneys for all the counties had a meeting, as well as the managers, and basically to discuss what do we do about this. This is a big surprise. Some counties, thank goodness, Socorro is fiscally sound, so Socorro could actually afford it. There are lots of counties that are not in as good a shape that can't necessarily afford it. But what basically, at least for now, we're trying to get a little bit more information about how and why they're doing this. We really don't have all the answers yet. My guess is, I hate to say it, and say it offline, probably we'd have to end up, in the end, we'll probably have to end up paying it. It is the law. But we're trying to find different ways to look, different ways to maybe get out of not doing it. And at this point, the agreement between all the counties is don't pay anything until we have our answers. Of course, the moment one county pays, then the dam is broken. So we're also setting up a meeting. My business partner Dave is setting up a meeting with General Counsel DFA to work through the statute and some of these issues. And if there isn't a way to do it, maybe for some of the counties at least, that they can get on a payment plan, because this was certainly an unexpected expense.
So the recommendation, Mike, and Adrian, would be just wait until.
Hold tight,
Okay.
tight to
No
further
action is
information.
needed, right?
Correct, sir.
So,
Then, ask for a payment plan.
That's what we're looking at, a payment plan.
3 years late behind. 3 years paid.
That's exactly what we're asking for.
Keeping the interest in the bank. The bank and the
Right.
money in the bank earning it.
Why give them the money there?
Commissioner Secretary.
so this, is it on a formula basis in regards to each county depending on, or is it just?
It is on a formula basis, depending on how many, it bases on how many employees generally, and how many participate. For instance, I think Catherine County got a $130,000 bill, which is huge for them. Valencia County got a $650,000 bill. So it just depending on how many employees you have and who participates in these plans. It's going to basically cover probably both employee and employer shares. So it is a big hit.
That's all.
Thank you. Item D, review, discussion, and direction to staff regarding speed hump request on County Road 91, Middle Road.
Mr. Chairman, Commission, we had a request for speed humps on Schmiddle Road. And all this, or the majority, which is required within the ordinance, along the roadway had signed the petition. And according to the ordinance, we're at the point where the commission decides whether they want to give me direction to go to the next steps, which is contact Dennis Engineering and pay for engineering to discern where the speed humps and or if any should even be placed on Schmiddle Road.
You've heard the recommendation of our manager. Commissioners, what do you want to do?
What percentage was it that signed? Majority of.
So it needs 75%, they surpassed 75%.
I make the motion, that's proceed with it. So,
That just rule of thumb that Dennis Engineering, probably the study is probably at least 4,000 to 4,000 to 6,000, just so you know the cost associated.
Okay, so Joe, you're recommending?
Yeah.
Going with
I think that's what
okay.
the constituents want. I personally hate speed. That's a no.
It's not speed hump.
Whatever.
Hump.
It's.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gonzalez approves the manager's request to get Dennis Engineering to do the study regarding the speed humps on County Road 91 to see if they're even required and or to do them correctly to engineer standards. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Secretarial. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You have direction to call Dennis Engineering.
So you were saying, fulfill the 75%, what is the number we're looking at in regards to hundreds?
Sorry?
Signatures, or people that.
Oh, how many in that neighborhood? And then I want to say there was approximately 48.
Okay. Item E, consideration of road name application request by Melissa Cardwell for a road from the intersection of Farm Market Road and State Road 1 from the southeast corner of State Road 1.
So, Chairman and Commission, Ms. Cardwell is requesting a road change, name road change within that construct is that it's just not that easy just to change the road. Then you have to go into 911 and everything else and make sure it's all documented. And that's why Elaine is here. So with that said, Elaine, if you want.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Cardwell and her sister Kathleen Cardwell are they want to name a road that goes into their father's property that already previously had a road, but the people that live on that long stretch of road, they're unaware. They were never made aware that that road ever even had a name, and they have been utilizing addresses using State Road 1. So when I informed them that the road already had a name, they asked me, and that there may be, I know in the ordinance it said that there may be a fee with changing the name of a road that already had a name, but I believe that fee is in regards to changing their signage. And since there is no signage there, I'm thinking maybe there won't be a fee involved. They're hoping to change this road. They have 3 choices here. The choice that I would approve is choice number 3, Cardwell Court. And I have informed the Cardwells that they would be responsible for installing signage and that it would change their addresses off of Cardwell Court. Also, I have pretty much 100% approving this change of the people that own the property. The only one that's missing is Mr. Cardwell himself, and that's because they are trying to do this for a surprise for Father's Day. So he did not sign, and he is not aware. But everyone else around has signed. And so that being said, they would be responsible for the signage. I do approve choice number 3. I'm not sure if you guys have a copy. Did you guys get a copy of? Yeah, it's less than 1,000 feet long. But it's something that somebody thought that it was long enough to assign a road name to previously. So,
So right now it's East Gallegos Road with all the residents.
yeah, East
recognized as
Gallegos
State
Road.
1.
It's actually, yes, it's East Gallegos Lane, but nobody knows that.
So is it a county road?
No, it's a private road. So it's a road that would not be expected to be maintained in any way. It's just a road that.
Do we have any say so?
Certainly, I can address that. Yes, basically because of the E911 system, it's important that the local public body does control the names of even private roads, so that, well, you've been in the situation more than anybody, where there's 4 Chavez roads, there's 4 Nance roads. I mean, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So pursuant to the ordinance for public health and safety, this board does have that authority. And so basically the process is that, they go to Elaine, and Elaine does a good job of making recommendations of stuff that is not going, pursuant to the ordinance, following whether it should be, whether it's a feeder road or access road or a private road or a private drive, to pick names that are not going to be confused in the E911 system. And then she can input them there if you all approve the pursuant to this process.
Another thing I would also like to add, I don't know why I'm talking into this. Another thing that I would like to add is that there is another Gallegos lane in Socorro off of Hope Farm Road. So Gallegos is a much more confusing response time than Cardwell Court. Cardwell Court would be unique to the county. So I believe that it would be a much better road name than East Gallegos Lane.
So with all that discussion, I make
Happy Father's Day recommendation to do number 3.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez recommends to change it to Cardwell Circle. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Aguilar.
Actually,
further-
Cardwell Court.
Yes, Cardwell Court. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is approved to give the authority and they buy the sign with Cardwell Court.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Item F, review, discussion, and direction to staff regarding support letter to SWACA, to Dr. Wilkes, U.S. Forest Service. Adrian. That's the one that the SWACA group has, I'm in that committee to support it, a resolution to send it to Dr. Wilkes.
Let me look really quick. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
Did you find it?
I did. Just, Mr. Chairman, this is a request from the Southwest Commission Alliance to send a letter to Dr. Wilkes, the Undersecretary of Agriculture, who has to sign off on the management plan for wild and scenic rivers.
Right.
And so they are basically requesting that this board approve a direction for basically the manager, and we'll work on the letter together and with your approval. To place comments and respond to a number of these creeks that are going to be added: Mineral Creek, Iron Creek. Now, of course, this doesn't directly affect Socorro County. However, as the chairman knows, we're all in it together as counties, and this would be supporting certainly the counties that are affected on the Gila, which would be certainly Grant and Catherine County.
Since I'm in that committee, I make the recommendation to send a letter of support.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, direction to do a letter of support to SWACA from our county. Thank you again. Item G, approval of 7th Judicial District Court professional service contract for adult drug court treatment provider.
Chairman Martinez commissioned this. Is a reoccurring professional services contract from SCAPE / DWI county program, and recommending to approve as we are the service provider for the drug court treatment program.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is approved, contract for adult drug court treatment provider. Item H, consideration of resolution 2023-52 supporting State Representative Jones' request for the governor to deploy the New Mexico National Guard to the southern border.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, this item was requested to be on by Commissioner Duggins. And I mean, it is what it says, that they're he's requesting the commission to request the governor to send additional support to assist the border patrol in local counties. I think it might be appropriate to table this since the sponsoring commissioner is not here, unless you all, feel comfortable with moving forward one way or the other.
What are your wishes? Commission.
What's our sister counties? What are they doing?
I believe, as far as I know at this point, Hidalgo County has adopted a similar resolution. I don't know of other counties that have addressed it personally. So at least there's one county that has done it.
That's my opinion. I agree. Table.
Okay. The commission says to table it, so we'll table it. Commissioner Douglas is here. Motion a motion to table it till next meeting. Motion was by Commissioner Aguilar, second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is tabled till the next meeting. Item I, review, discussion, and direction to staff regarding the city of Socorro donation of inventory items. You have a handout provided to us.
It's the same one. I make a motion to go ahead with the donation of the list as presented to the city of Socorro for the senior citizen program.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez.
I have a question.
Okay.
How are these 8 pages different from one another?
They're not.
I think it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
See, and they wanna, what I understand, they wanna open up June 1st. These are some of the items that they would like to have back.
We get some help with that.
So,
Is there a motion?
motion by Commissioner,
I'll let second.
second by Commissioner Secretary. Any, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Chairman Martinez, that was my mistake on this here. On the.
Oh, for the extra copy?
Yeah. That was my mistake.
Well, it's an extra item.
Yeah.
I was like, how are we gonna do 8 different?
And just for the record, that all those items were purchased with general fund monies. Just so we're.
Thank you.
Okay. Item J, acknowledge personnel changes. Gentlemen, do you have who wants to acknowledge personnel changes?
I'll go ahead and
Okay,
make a motion to approve the personnel changes as presented. Chris Carbo, maintenance, new hire, $15.39 an hour. Red Lucero, treasurer, office, new hire, $15.63 an hour. Tommy Chavez, treasurer, new hire, $15.63 an hour.
need a motion to acknowledge personnel changes.
So,
Motion by Commissioner Secretary,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Gonzalez. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, personnel changes are acknowledged. Item 11, financial action item, item A and item B.
I will make a motion to approve item 11A and B together. Vendor checks in the amount of $850,887.30 dated on May 19th. And also item 11B, approve payroll checks in the amount of $253,708.54 dated on May 4th.
Motion by Commissioner Secretary to approve A and B. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any further discussion before I ask for the vote? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vendors checks and payroll checks are approved. Item 12. We have no executive session, correct? So, what?
Okay, don't look so disappointed. I'm at a loss.
No personnel? Do we have? We don't, no?
No.
It's just listed there in case.
It's listed, just, it is possible that if something came up during the meeting that was appropriate, we could move it to that item, but so it's there as a placeholder, but if it's not listed, we don't have anything in.
Thank you, sir.
Our next commission meeting is June 6, 2023 at 5 o'clock. Before we adjourn, is there anything else, commissioners? We are adjourned. Sean, meeting's going fast.
That's 6:05.
At 6:05. Thank you.